What's up, YouTube? Back again with my 2005 Infiniti Q45 Premium Edition. And today I'm going to go over some of the problems that I inherited and some of the common problems that I've encountered since my ownership. So let's go ahead and pop the hood right now. And we'll get into some details. So I seen this car on offer up with 110,000 miles. That's what he advertised at. And I end up purchasing it at 115,000 miles. So when I got it at 115,000 miles, there was some issues with it that I inherited from the old owner. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume that those problems occurred at around 110. That's why he posted it up for sale, because he didn't want to put out money to fix those problems. So I ended up inheriting it. And the first thing that I noticed was the active dampening suspension was out. So I went ahead and replaced it with some BC racing coilovers. I popped the hood. And another problem that I inherited was a lot of leaks. Now, throughout my research, I know I've read that these VK45, they're very notorious for leaks, especially if you really don't maintain it. So obviously the last guy didn't really maintain it too well. I replaced the power steering reservoir because there was a leak in the return hose and the supply hose. Got this on eBay for about $30, and the hose, got it from AutoZone. I think it was like a couple bucks a foot or something. It wasn't too expensive. But during my research for this hose right here, if you were to get an OEM one, the one that's molded to fit, exact fitment, they're very expensive, and they're also discontinued. So if you were to find one, it would be pretty pricey, I assume. Okay, other problems that I've inherited was valve cover leak, front and rear timing leak. Got this done at Midas for about, I want to say almost $1,300. That was not a cheap fix at all. It took them about a whole day. And did the valve cover. Now the thing with the valve cover gasket is for the spark plug seal, the O-ring, whatever you want to call it, gasket for the spark plug, it is built inside into the valve cover itself. So when you do the valve cover gaskets, excuse my English right now, you will need to replace the cover as well. Otherwise, oil is just going to get into your spark plug hole, or yeah, spark plug hole tube, whatever. Yeah, but another problem that I encountered later down my ownership, I want to say around 120,000 miles, is it started to misfire, which is the ignition coil packs. Now that is a common issue with the VK45s, and I believe with the VH41 and VH45 as well. This is my third Q45 that I've owned. I've owned two Y33s, and this is my first F50. Okay, let's see what else we can get into. What else have I done? I've done the two VVT sensors, which would be this guy right here and this guy right here. I've done the crankshaft position sensor, which is, let me see if I can find it right. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's right in front of the front timing cover gasket, or front timing cover, I should say. Also done the two seals on both sides, front timing cover gasket and rear timing cover gasket. I know this on the Y33, both of my Y33s, the fuel injector, they tend to go out, causing misfires. Haven't encountered that problem with this F50 yet, so keep your fingers crossed on that. We did the fuel pump as well, that went out, and the vehicle speed sensor. I don't know if that's a common problem for this car, but I did encounter it. And another common problem would be your passenger window regulator. That recently failed at about 130,000, I want to say. And if you guys are in the market for the F50, or if you guys own the F50, you will know that the steering wheel, over time it gets, you know, rubbed off and it gets really ugly. So what I did was I removed the steering wheel, taped up the wood grain, took off the airbag, sanded it down nice, and I hit it with the fabric. It's the fabric in the can. They sell it at AutoZone. You guys can check that out. Let's see what else. What other problem have I encountered with this? Front crankshaft seal. There you go. Let me just open this back up. The front crankshaft seal, it was leaking. And we went ahead and got that replaced for about $300 as well at Midas. Oil pressure sender, that went out as well. Oil was squirting out of it, and I believe that is a common problem as well. We did the water pump, thermostat, and MAF sensor. So please keep in mind that I've owned this for about 4 years, and I've only put roughly 18,000 miles on it. And these are all the problems that I've encountered within that 18,000 miles. So I want to say around 110,000 miles to 132,000 miles, you will be encountering all these problems. Another issue we have would be the trunk strut. It's really a pain in the ass to really get into that spot right there. I did one side. It took me a really long time, but we had to tear out the whole back seat. Or I had to tear out the whole back seat just to get access to the rear strut. And it was not fun at all. Let me see if I can cover any other issues that I've encountered with this vehicle so far. Yeah, I guess from there, I mean, we want to talk about maintenance. You want to stay on top of all that oil changes, your differential, your transmission, especially transmission fluid. You want to stick with the Nissan Matic Type J because that's what they recommend. And if you were to put any other fluid into it, you are going to encounter transmission problems. That's one thing we want to avoid with these Nissans, because I don't know if you guys don't know, but Nissan, they use the Jatco transmission, and Jatco, they are not really all that good. Let's just be honest, you know. So we want to stay on top of maintenance with that as well. Yes, for this vehicle, that's all the problems that I've encountered so far. The vehicle engine is, I mean, the VK45 is a pretty solid build. It's a pretty solid motor as long as you stay on top of your maintenance. It is pricey. It does get pricey. Let's see. Almost forgot about this intake tube. Let me grab this right here. If you work on your car a lot and you pull out the air box multiple times, or, you know, a lot of times, this air intake boot, or whatever you want to call it, it's gonna rip, and it did rip. I've also seen quite a few other F50s with this issue. Got this from Pep Boys. There's like, I think like 3-4 different bends that came in the whole package. It cost me about $40, and I just took that single one that I needed. Fits right in. So if you guys own the F50 and you've crossed this problem, they have it at Pep Boys, man. All right, so as far as this Q45, it is a solid car. I will be, actually, forgot to tell you guys, change out the radiator as well recently at 132,000 miles. There was a micro leak in it. Didn't really leak out too much, but I don't want to be seeing drips on my garage floor and in front of my house and all that. So got that taken care of for about $90 and a few hours of labor. Not too hard. So yeah, that is my F50, guys. You guys stay tuned for the next video. I will be installing this Mishimoto 13-row Go transmission cooler. And yeah, we'll get into all the mods and everything else later on down the line. There's not a lot of Q45 F50 owners out there. If you're one of them, go ahead. You want to support the channel, go ahead, like, subscribe, And yeah, I have a before and after picture of this project right here. Posted somewhere right here right now. So as you guys can see, I did a lot of work into this car. It looks nothing like the day I got it. It's total white and red. Let's just say that. All right. So yep, stay tuned, like, subscribe. I'm thinking about doing another channel for my single cam build right here, but we'll wait for another day on that. All right. Until then,